You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Southwest Missouri Reining Horse Association partners with Lucky J Steakhouse and Arena.
And authorities in Bentonville respond to an early Sunday morning fire.
And we've got ourselves a warm and muggy start across the 4 states with thunderstorm chances on the way. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It is 7 o'clock now on this Monday morning. It is Monday, unfortunately, in the 4 states. It's warm, it's muggy. We do have some scattered storms possible, and then it's going to get pretty darn hot the next couple of days.
You know what I enjoyed, though? Obviously, there's a lot of damage from Friday's storms, but right after it happened, the temperature dropped into the 60s.
Yeah, it felt nice.
It was so nice, and then it got humid.
Yeah, it did. It did so in a hurry, too.
Yes.
But yeah, we had some pretty nasty storms last week. Now, the good news is, at least right now with today's storms, we're not looking at that same possibility. Could have some gusty winds, but we're not looking at anything like what we saw last week across the area.
Well, the Southwest Missouri Reining Horse Association partnered with Lucky J Steakhouse and Arena as dozens of horses and riders took to the stage.
KOAM's Anthony Saviello has an inside look into what it takes to compete.
While everyone has heard of the rodeo, with the tough bull-riding cowboys and the majestic barrel racers, you may not realize what else these cowboys and girls are capable of. How long have you been doing this?
Basically my whole life, but I started showing about a year and a half ago.
Okay. And you're how old now?
13.
13. You've been doing this since you were 11 and a half years old?
Yeah.
Jaden Ingram is one of the competitors this year, but isn't alone, because by her side is a trusted friend by the name of Meatball.
I've had her for a year and a half, but she's 13.
Okay. But she's been with you since you've been showing?
Yeah.
A bond that must remain strong so that both Meatball and Jaden can put their best foot, or should I say hoof, forward.
You would need a good owner to take care of it and, be able to have that time. But for the horse, they need to be able to, they're going to need to want to do it, And it's hard in animals, but they're willing.
Willing and ready to show off and have fun. Reporting in Carthage, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Love horses. Well, be sure to look out for more events coming to the Lucky J Arena on their website.
Absolutely. You definitely want to make sure you're checking out all the things that they have coming up there. Always an exciting time. And our forecast, not so exciting over the next couple of days, but we do have those scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into this afternoon. So here we are at noon. You can see a few of them in our northern counties. And then we get this bigger batch that's going to come out of north central Kansas. Some of these could be on the strong side with some gusty winds out there. But the good news is right now, we're not looking at anything severe at this point. So that's some excellent news. We do not need another event like last week. What we do need, though, is the rain. Here we are at 3 o'clock. You can see where that batch of storms is. By 4, it's kind of split apart, but still some scattered storms out there. We'll have additional scattered storms by 6 o'clock that'll work through mainly on the Missouri side. And then around 8 or so, we get a brief pause before we see additional scattered thunderstorms begin to develop across the area. And these will stick with us till, say, about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and then that'll leave us partly cloudy as we go through the rest of the overnight into Tuesday morning. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. It is bright. It is sunny out there, and it's a little bit on the sunny side. Actually looks a little bit cloudy from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. Well, that might be why. There are some clouds off to the northwest here. Our camera at 7th and Rangeline showing those clouds. Otherwise, partly cloudy in Joplin. Warm, 75. Muggy as well. Dew point 67. Humidity 76%. Wind is now southwest at 11, starting to gust upwards of 22, so a little bit on the breezy side out there this morning. We got 74s, Fort Scott, Nevada, Pittsburgh, Parsons, Chanute, Chatopa, Miami, Neosho, and we've got 73 Lamar, 75 in Carthage, and 72 in Yates Center. We get our morning started. We're partly cloudy. We're going to go into the mid-80s by late morning, and as we head into the afternoon, low to mid-90s for our highs, scattered thunderstorms. If you get under a storm, you'll see a very nice but very brief drop in temperature temperatures before they'll warm back up again. And we'll go scattered storms through the evening, low 70s for our overnight lows. And then, tomorrow, Wednesday, I don't like it any more than you do, but we go back to the triple digits. No relief from the heat as we go into the evening hours. And then we'll get some scattered storms Thursday, Friday, and that'll bring our temperatures back down to a much more manageable upper 80s, lower 90s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Ranchers and farmers in the Midwest are awaiting possible aid as the region battles through one of its worst droughts. U.S. senators from Missouri have called on the Department of Agriculture to look into opening Conservation Reserve Program land for emergency haying. Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen says the region's conditions resemble the drought from the Dust Bowl in the 1920s to 30s. Mullen also says the current hay yield is about 25% of what it should be, which could affect prices for cattle and other food as well. A severe thunderstorm warning was in effect for parts of Kansas Friday night as the National Weather Service warned of wind gusting up to 80 miles per hour and potential golf ball sized hail. Kansas Highway Patrol Trooper Todd Heilman posted this footage as a line of storms loomed over the Ellis area. "Get ready, Ellis County," he wrote on Twitter. According to the NWS, the storms lasted through the evening. Joplin's monthly tree limb drop-off program was open to residents over the weekend following Friday night's storm. The program is available for you to drop off your limbs and branches, but must be cut to a maximum of 4-foot bundles and no heavier than 50 pounds. The disposal is open every third Friday and Saturday and is free and available for Joplin residents at 1702 North Schifferdecker Avenue. Well, good news for some drivers on West 32nd Street in Joplin. The city of Joplin anticipates opening a new section of West 32nd from Crane Drive West to the vicinity of Woodland Avenue. The section in the Cedar Ridge neighborhood will be open to local traffic tentatively July 24th. The project began more than 2 years ago, initially closing West 32nd from Schifferdecker to Iron Gates Road. The hope is the entire project will be completed by the end of the year. And authorities respond to an early Sunday morning fire in Bentonville, Arkansas. Reports of a commercial fire came in to the Bentonville Fire Department around 6 a.m. Sunday morning. The commercial building is home to numerous small businesses, including a salon and spa, counseling services, and others. A city spokesperson says the fire was in the attic on arrival. No occupants or firefighters were injured. An enthusiastic citizen in Tulsa, Oklahoma, stopped his truck and tackled a suspect who was running away from officers last Thursday. This is according to local authorities there. This footage, released by police, shows officers chasing the runaway suspect down a sidewalk when a man wearing an orange t-shirt jumps out of his truck and tackles the man. Suspect was arrested for resisting arrest and other pre-existing felony warrants. Professional soccer will soon take the field in Northwest Arkansas. The United Soccer League announced it plans to bring professional men's and women's soccer clubs to Northwest Arkansas as the region's first professional teams. Partnership plans to build a 5,000-plus seat multi-purpose stadium nestled in the heart of the Pinnacle Hills Entertainment District in Rogers, Arkansas. USL Arkansas's goal is to begin playing the USL Championship prior to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which kicks off in the United States, and in the fall that same year for the USL Super League. The teams have not been named yet. And police in Galena, Kansas arrest a man they say was cutting wire from telephone poles. It happened Friday. Authorities say they received tips from residents and found the suspect vehicle near 21st and State Line Road. When officers pulled the vehicle over, they found wire and cutting tools inside, as well as drugs and drug paraphernalia. They also arrested the driver, 28-year-old Dakota Beck. He's being held on charges of theft from a utility company and criminal damage of property. Well, up next, there she is. Lori Horton is back in studio showing us how to make a strawberry crunch cake. It smells
And later, Create and Sip in Joplin puts on a rock painting event. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We will be right back.
Welcome back. We've got Lori Horton in studio again with us this morning, and we are going to be making a strawberry crunch cake. Of course, we started it on the KOAM Morning News.
We started it at 6 o'clock. We got our cake all baked, and this is not the magic of television. We actually went back and baked this while we were in between segments. So
yes, it actually is. I can smell it. It's fresh.
It's very fresh. Came
And you
straight
did talk
from the
about
oven.
how the top would be broken up a little bit.
Yes, so it's not a pretty top, but it doesn't matter because we're going to cover it all up. But it is going to be a nice golden brown, that strawberry color. It kind of turns a little bit dark, so don't panic on that one. We're going to let that cool though quite a little bit, so it's way too hot for our next step. So while we're waiting on that, we're going to make that strawberry crunch topping.
Okay.
And this is where you get to work out your frustrations a little bit for the week. You know, get that out of your system because it's Monday and it's sort of disrespectful outside. So I'm going to take my giant rolling pin.
You're talking about the weather, right?
Yeah, well.
What's going on outside?
The weather too. We need to have a talk with Chris about that.
Okay.
You can take that and just smack it. Just beat
Oh,
those
just
up.
beat it with it?
We want to take those. There you go. Just get them to where they're a really nice small piece.
Okay, I was about to roll it, but you said beat it, so.
No, get aggressive. And you're doing this with the whole cookie. We didn't take out the filling. We didn't do anything to it.
This is fun.
I know, right? It's the best part.
This has got to be really loud on my mic.
It probably is.
Sorry to the viewers at home here.
It's the fun part.
I'm almost done. I guess if you go too much, you'll put a hole in the bag.
You might.
Am I doing good?
You're doing great. Very professional.
Okay, there we go.
With the flourish. Okay, so actually she got really excited, but we're going to do that with like the whole package at some point.
Okay.
If you have a food processor, put this in the food processor.
This is where you said make it family friendly.
It
and
is,
what kid would
exactly.
not want to beat a bag of cookies?
And you know, you can set them off in the corner and kind of keep them out of the way for a little bit for that. But we would do that with the whole thing. After you get that all done, and these I did in the food processor, it's
those are all
much finer, much finer done up.
Are we going for?
We're going for kind of a
Kind of a
crunchy.
mixture?
Even in the food processor, you're going to get some little pieces. You want that, you know, kind of crunch to it. You're going to add to that your box, another separate box, a secondary box of that strawberry jello.
So we
And
have
then-
one box already in the actual cake.
Right. We put that one box in there to kind of take that French vanilla cake and turn it into strawberry. And the main question I think everybody's going to ask is how come you didn't just use a strawberry cake mix? And you can absolutely do that as well. But it's just it's just a little bit different flavor to it when you start with that rich vanilla and then you add the strawberry to it. So we're going to add just a half a stick of melted butter to this one. And then once we've got all that together, it's going to come out with this type of a nice little crunchy top. What we do with that is then put it on a cookie sheet, and then we're going to bake that because it's very wet right now. We've got that butter in there. It's
Do you
not.
mix that together?
Yeah, we'll mix it together. We're going to put some more cookies in there as well. So we kind of have like a whole cookie sheet full of this.
Okay.
We're going to bake it in that oven at 350 for about 8 minutes. And all we want to do is basically dry it out so that we've got that good crunch to it. It takes it from that kind of soggy, you know, sort of a stickiness to it to that. And then once we come back and this is really nice and cool, we've got a couple layers to it. And we can do two different things with that. We can add a Cool Whip topping to it. We can add frosting to the top of it if you prefer buttercream to the top of it. You've kind of got some options.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to break, and maybe she'll smash up a few more, but I think she might have enough done already.
I think I'm good.
Or she'll let me smash a few.
I think she needs it.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:18 now on this Monday morning. We've got a warm and muggy start, and we've got scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon. So let's take a look. We're going to stop at noon. Here's a few of those scattered storms in our northern counties by noon. And then as we head later into the afternoon, a little complex of storms that'll be way back over here is expected to eventually start to roll into our area. Now, there is the possibility that some of these storms, especially these afternoon ones, could be a bit on the strong side with some gusty winds. As of right now, though, we're not anticipating any severe weather or any significant severe weather for that matter. So hopefully it stays that way. We just need the rain, and this is at least going to do that for us. By 3, moving on off to the south and to the east, and it begins to split a little bit with some of the stronger activity moving into northwest Arkansas by 4, and a few other scattered storms right along into the east of the I-49 corridor. By 5, 6 o'clock, we have a few more scattered thunderstorms out there, and we'll get a little lull in activity later this evening before we see additional thunderstorms begin to develop. Here we are at 10 o'clock, and these will continue to be scattered across the area, and they'll hang out with us until about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then they'll start to clear on out of here. Leave us partly cloudy overnight ahead of a very hot Tuesday across the area. We've got a look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line, looking good. KDOT camera 69 and East 5 20th Avenue is showing some cloudy skies. You can see them back there. We're at 75 in Joplin, Muggy, southwest breeze 11, gusting to 22. And we've got temperatures around the area: 74 Fort Scott, Nevada, Pittsburgh, Chetopa, Parsons, Miami, Neosho, and 75 up in Carthage. We get our day started. We're going to go partly cloudy, mid-80s across the area. Highs today, low to mid-90s out there. Scattered thunderstorms, of course, again, still through the afternoon and into the evening, and then we'll go low 70s overnight. By the time we hit into Tuesday and Wednesday, triple digits across the area. And then we'll get more scattered showers and storms by Thursday and Friday, and that kicks our temperatures back down into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. Create and Sip in Joplin puts on an event for those in the area to express their creativity by painting rocks. John Coleman, the owner of Create and Sip, says it's a fun way for anyone to paint and create. After the rocks were finished, patrons could either hold on to their creation or add it to the rock population of Joplin.
But anything can be utilized as for making art. And I tell a lot of people too, with even using your paintbrush, the wrong end of the brush can still be used to make a mark. So if it can make a mark, and if you can make a mark on it, you can turn it into art.
You can follow Create and Sip on Facebook and look at their website for all of their upcoming events. VA Clinic in Joplin hosted a PACT Act outreach event to raise awareness for veterans to apply for benefits that have been created due to the act. The PACT Act creates benefits for veterans involved in the Vietnam, Gulf, and Afghanistan wars. Those who have been affected medically by toxic chemicals used in these wars should sign up and apply to be screened.
We've got ourselves some scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon. As we get our morning started, we are warm, we are muggy, we will be partly cloudy, and temperatures going into the mid-80s. By this afternoon, low to mid-90s for highs, partly to mostly cloudy skies, scattered thunderstorms. If you get under one of those storms, you'll see a nice but brief temperature drop before it turns around and warms back up on you. Scattered storms again through the evening, early overnight hours. Then we'll go partly cloudy for the rest of our overnight, back down in the low 70s. We're going triple digits, unfortunately, for Tuesday and Wednesday with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then Thursday, Friday, some showers and thunderstorms. They help bring our temperatures back down into the weekend, with temperatures dropping back into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We just got to get through these 2 days of triple digits. Tanya?
Thanks, Chris. Kansas City University holds its annual white coating ceremony at Joplin High Performing Arts Center. For students who will begin at KCU this year, the white coating ceremony is the first step to becoming a doctor. Students all across the world will be attending KCU, as well as students from right here in the 4 states.
Man, I mean, I have pictures. My parents have pictures from like Christmas as like an 8-year-old with me in like a little white coat and a stethoscope with a little heart on it. So like almost for as long as I can remember.
Brooklyn and her fellow students will graduate in 2027. Southeast Kansas Humane Society puts on a fun day of tie-dye. Those who wish to participate donated $5 and then were provided with a bandana for the special dog in their life that they then tie-dyed. For those interested in more events, just go to the Humane Society, be sure to follow them on Facebook and check out their website for more events. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, Carl Brenner and Randy Tinker Smith danced their way into our studio to tell us all about an upcoming ballet bringing 400 years of Osage history to life.
And as mentioned, we've got some scattered thunderstorm chances as we roll into the afternoon and some hot weather on the way. We'll take another look at your forecast a little later.
Sonic.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in the studio is Carl Brenner and Randy Tinker-Smith. They're here to tell us all about the Wajaje Osage Ballet that's coming up at Fort Scott. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so this is a pretty big deal. Tell me about the ballet. What exactly is this going to be?
Our ballet was written about our Osage history, just an overview of about 400 years of history packed in there. And we start pre-contact in the beginning, and we open with a prayer scene, because in our tribe, that's what we do. We pray before we do anything. Then we move on through some of just what it was like to live before the Europeans came. We show the change when the Spaniards get here and the French, and on all the way to the end to today.
And what made Fort Scott the appropriate location for this ballet? What makes this a special place?
So, the Osage Nation traditionally called the Fort Scott area home. And due to Indian policy of the federal government, they were moved south out of that area and then eventually down to Oklahoma. So we have a responsibility to provide a platform to tell that story. It's not our story to tell, it's the Osage story. So we wanted to have the place where they historically lived, have the story told.
And how important is it for people to attend this and to pick up on that history? Because, I mean, if you're from this area, you know where the Osage Nation is now, but I'm sure there's a lot of folks who don't know where they started, where they were originally.
You're right. There's so many people that just don't even know we still exist. They'll ask, do you live in teepees? Or, you know, they don't know that we're a thriving, vibrant, happy community still today. And we're settled now in the Osage Reservation, and I live in Pawhuska, the Pawhuska area, which is where our main Osage is. But we did come from here. We started in all this of Central America center of America was Osage land. And we ended up, my great-grandfather was born at the mission in Kansas.
Wow.
And then we came there from there to the reservation.
So it's just very important for people to pick up on this story, learn this history that unfortunately for some has become forgotten, but thankfully for the Osage, this is history that will never be forgotten, and you'll be able to continue to educate folks around the area, around the nation with this information. So real quick recap, where is this at? When is it? What do people need to know?
So this is going to be happening this Friday and Saturday at the Ellis Fine Arts Theater and Community College in Fort Scott. It will be Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. or there's a Saturday matinee at 3.
All right. Well, both of you, thank you so much for coming in this morning. And of course, if you missed any of that, we will have it all on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. I will be back with another check of your forecast right after this.
Now open at 20th and Main in Joplin.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:39 on this Monday morning. We've got scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon. So here we are at noon. You can see a few of those there. And then as we head later into the afternoon, we get a bigger patch of thunderstorms coming into parts of southeast Kansas. Some of these could be on the strong side with some gusty winds out there. But at least right now, the good news is we're not anticipating any severe weather. Strong storms, possibly. Severe weather, not looking likely. Of course, if that changes, we'll let you know. This will continue to track southeast across the area into the afternoon. Here we are at 3 along and west of I-49 and right along I-44. By 4 shifts on off further to the southeast and actually kind of splits there. As you can see, we got some stronger activity into northwest Arkansas and some scattered storms heading off to the east of I-49. By 6 we see additional development of a few scattered storms out there, and by about 8 we get this little lull in activity before additional thunderstorms develop and kind of hang around the area through the early overnight hours, and then by about 3 a.m. or so they will be out of here. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. We've got sunshine out there. We've had some cloud cover up around the Pittsburgh areas. You can see that from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, and from our camera at 7th and range line before the box comes in, you can see some clouds off to the northwest. Got some gusty winds too. Southwest at 11, gusting 22. Muggy, dew point 67, humidity 76%, and temperature 75. And that is going to be muggy today. as we head into the afternoon with those storm chances. We're getting more 75s out there now. Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Miami, Chatopa. We got 74, Parsons, Chanute, Yates Center, and 73, Neodesha and Iola. We get our morning started, again, partly cloudy skies into the mid-80s by late morning. Then as we go into the afternoon, we'll be varying between partly to mostly cloudy skies, depending on how close you are to some of these thunderstorms. And of course, if you get under one of them, obviously cloudy skies. We'll have temperatures go low to mid-90s. If you get under one of these storms, you'll see a very nice but very brief drop in temperatures, and as the storms pass through, they will start to warm back up again on the flip side. More scattered storms through the evening and again into the early overnight hours, going back into the low 70s. And as we look ahead, triple digits, unfortunately, for us Tuesday and Wednesday. We already have heat advisories that are going to be going into effect Tuesday. We'll talk more about those a little later. And then we'll see a nice relief. We'll have some thunderstorm chances Thursday, Friday, and bringing temperatures back down into the upper 80s and lower 90s. That is a check of your forecast. Now here's Tanya Bach with a check of Consumer Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Twitter owner Elon Musk says the company is still bleeding money. Musk disclosed on Twitter the company has seen a 50% drop in advertising revenue and it is carrying a heavy debt load. So at the moment, Twitter is operating with a negative cash flow. More than half of the top 1,000 advertisers on Twitter left after Musk took control of the company last year. That's according to market intelligence firm Sensor Tower. Besides a loss in advertising revenue, Twitter also is facing a challenge from Meta's new app called Threads. It had more than 100 million downloads less than a week after it debuted. Well, pilots with United Airlines have reached a tentative agreement with the airline on a new 4-year contract. The new deal will give pilots a substantial pay raise up to 40%. Airline Pilots Association says the agreement also includes better retirement benefits, job security, and addresses quality of life issues. Union says the agreement ends a stalemate that has lasted 4 years. Its 16,000 members still must approve the deal. Sam's Club offers educators $20 memberships from last month through August 15th. That's 60% less than the normal price. It's for state licensed pre-K through 12 teachers, principals, and assistant principals. College and university professors also can get the deal. Sam's Club says it's offering the discount since many educators pay for their own classroom supplies. And it's Barbie's world, and it's open for business. Since the iconic doll was launched back in 1959 by toy company Mattel, Barbie has captured the hearts of millions across the globe, including my own. And now her own live-action film debuting on the 21st. Vanessa Yurkovich has more.
Barbara Millicent Roberts. You know her as Barbie. Parents, Mattel. Born in 1959, but doesn't look a day over 19.
Everyone had a Barbie, and it was the thing to have a Barbie.
Next week, Barbie comes to life in a new movie with an A-list director and actors.
Hi, Barbie!
Hi, Ken! Distributed by CNN's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery.
It's an incredibly important milestone for the brand.
Barbie, beloved by girls and boys around the world, has had ups and downs.
Back in 2014-15, we hit a low, and it was a moment to reflect in the context of why did Barbie lose relevance? She didn't reflect the physicality, the look, if you will, of the world around us.
Now Barbie, Ken, and friends have many different skin tones, shapes, and special traits that make them look more like us. But this year's first quarter sales at Mattel slumped, down 22% from last year's.
How is Mattel and Barbie viewed as a brand?
There's been a lot of decline in that differentiation and that relevance that keep a brand fresh and top of mind from a purchase perspective. And when that happens, brands go into a place of fatigue.
Mattel hopes this new movie will give them the boost they're looking for.
We also now have the opportunity to reach new ages and stages that ultimately, from a business perspective, provides huge merchandising and monetization opportunities.
We're standing in front of Barbie.
At Hombom Toys, owner Eileen Gayer can't keep movie Barbie on the shelf.
Within a day, they were gone.
Have you always had Barbie and Ken and friends in store?
Absolutely. It's a staple. It's the moms and dads who are more nostalgic than the kids.
But that nostalgia isn't for everyone.
I don't know how she's evolved. Yeah. Like, does she have a college degree now?
The movie has calculated for that.
We haven't played with Barbie since we were like 5 years old. Oh.
And for others, you're never too old for Barbie.
I am 90 years old. Or I should say, 90 years young.
Carol Spencer didn't grow up playing with Barbies.
This was my first project.
But Barbie wouldn't be, well, Barbie without her.
I was a designer for the Barbie doll starting in 1963 for over 35 years. And I loved every minute of it.
While Carol helped make Barbie, Barbie helped make Mattel. As other toys have come and gone, Barbie is still strutting.
Barbie really carried Mattel for a great many years. I thought of every child who played with the Barbie doll as my child. So let me tell you, I have a big family, and I love it.
And that is the magic and power of Barbie.
I had 24 Barbies, one Skipper from the 1970s, not trying to date myself, it was my mother's, and 2 Ken dolls. Yep, I love Barbie. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Have you ever wondered what are some of the weirdest things people leave behind at the airport?
I can't say that I have, but I'm sure there are some who have, and Danielle Miller is going to give us a little tour of how they handle those items and what happens to them afterwards.
We're here at Phoenix Sky Harbor's Lost and Found facility where they process hundreds of items per week. Some of the things left behind may shock you.
It was the teeth. People call and say, I had my teeth in a plastic bag. Have you seen them?
Phoenix Sky Harbor Lost and Found manager Alicia Walker says that customer was lucky enough to get their teeth back. That person, like hundreds of others, accidentally left their items behind.
It is typically full, especially after a 3 or 4 day holiday. It is very full. This is full, including outside and front, and it takes us literally all day to log in the items. And then we have 24 to 48 hours to take down. Sometime over a holiday, it could be over 100 voicemails and over 60 to 80 emails.
All of those people calling and emailing to see if their stuff was picked up. These items all coming from the common areas at the airport.
It's found by various people. It could be found by a staff member. It could be found by a passenger. And when I say common areas, I mean anywhere up before TSA. It could be found on the curbs. It could be found in the restroom. It could be found in a chair. It can also be turned into our information counters.
Walker says people get busy or distracted, causing them to forget their stuff.
It could be water bottles, jewelry, laptops, computers, again, false teeth, wheelchairs, a lot of clothing, keys, backpacks.
All right.
Okay, so the airport holds the items for 10 days before it's donated or given to police. I'm glad they give them somewhere else, because what if you're on a vacation that's like 30 days or you go out of town for 30 days, you drove to the airport, I saw a lot of keys hanging in bags there. You realize you lost your keys when you get back, but you haven't realized it for 30 days.
I'm sorry, what place of employment have you been at where you can take 30 days off?
Oh.
I mean,
my son himself, he's gone for 30 days.
Okay, so yeah, younger folks, okay,
Yeah.
but that's different. I don't think you and I could take 30 days off from here.
I would also hate to pay to park for 30 days.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it. Well, we've got some scattered thunderstorm chances, and they will not last 30 days, but we'll see them building in as we head into the afternoon hours. Could see a couple of stronger storms with some gusty winds out there. We're not anticipating any severe weather, but some stronger storms a possibility. Here we are at 2. Here we go to 3 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, starting to shift southeast, and it actually even splits off. We'll see additional development later in the evening, and then we'll see a little lull in activity by about 8 or so before we see more scattered showers and thunderstorms build in, and these should be out of here by about 2 or 3 o'clock, leading us to a hot day for us Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll take another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities received reports of a commercial fire in Bentonville, Arkansas around 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Commercial building is home to numerous small businesses, including a salon and spa, counseling services, and others. City spokesperson says the fire was in the attic on arrival. No occupants or firefighters were injured. City of Joplin anticipates opening a new section of West 32nd from Crane Drive west to the vicinity of Woodland Avenue. This section in the Cedar Ridge neighborhood will be open to local traffic tentatively July 24th. The hope is the entire project will be complete by the end of the year. And the VA clinic in Joplin hosts a PACT Act outreach event to raise awareness for veterans to apply for benefits that have been created due to the act. The PACT Act creates benefits for veterans involved in the Vietnam, Gulf, and Afghanistan wars. Those who've been affected medically by toxic chemicals used in these wars can sign up and apply for screening. And Kansas City University holds its annual white coating ceremony at Joplin High Performing Arts Center for students who will begin at KCU this year. The white coating ceremony is the first step to becoming a doctor. Students all across the world will be attending KCU, as well as students from right here in the 4 states.
All right, as we head into the afternoon, highs today low to mid 90s, partly to mostly cloudy skies, scattered thunderstorms. If you get under one of those, you may see a significant but brief temperature drop out there. Scattered thunderstorms continue into the evening and early overnight hours as we go back into the low 70s. Then tomorrow and Wednesday, boy, a good time to stay indoors as we go into the triple digits once again across the area. And that also means very warm overnights, no relief from that heat until we get to Thursday and Friday, where we see a few more storm chances, and that helps knock our temperatures down into the upper 80s and lower 90s.
Well, a raccoon in quite the predicament got some assistance from a couple of police officers in Ohio last week.
The 2 Paynesville officers spotted the masked bandit early Thursday morning struggling with a mayonnaise jar stuck on its head, and they were able to help the little guy out by, well, removing the jar.
As the police department stated in its Facebook post, you never know what you'll see on night shift. Hopefully they hauled him out of town and didn't let him go run into someone's attic.
I ran into, and let me rephrase. I saw an entire family of raccoons cross the highway in front of me this morning. I did not run into the family of raccoons.
There is a mama and 3 baby raccoons living in the drainage ditch that's right next to my house. And when it rains, they run up and plague my neighbor's home.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, they're going to be doing that again with those scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. So, well, we want to thank you all so much for letting us put the good in the morning. We will, in your somebody's morning, we're going to try and be back with more news and weather today at noon.
All right. Have a great morning, everyone out there, and an even better day.